Hello and welcome back to the channel. So this is something that I've kind of felt for a while now, and I have kind of talked about this a bit in past videos as well. But StarRail really does need more side content. And I don't mean like just events, though that is kind of part of it, but I'll talk about that later. I also kind of mean more like side modes. Kind of like in the same vein as Simulated Universe, but something that's just not Simulated Universe, yeah. Because while I have enjoyed a lot of the updates and like new versions of it that we have gotten, it is getting kind of like stale, you know? Like we've gotten what, like 4 different versions of it just in like, there's 3, I think 3 or 4 in like the past year. Especially since like the whole roguelike mode thing has been getting kind of overdone with like basically like most of these games having one of them now. It's kind of the same problem with the Abyss format where it's just super stale, and I kind of just want to see something new, you know? Now saying that, I don't think StarRail necessarily needs like a new endgame mode, at least not yet, I don't think. Maybe like in like 4.0 or something. I think like the trio we have right now work well with, you know, Forgotten Hall, Apocalyptic Shadow, and Pure Fiction, though I would maybe like to see some changes to them, but not like huge changes. The problem right now is that like that's kind of all there is to do, especially with like the lack of events this patch. Like only having one event in each half of this patch is criminal. Like, oh my god. Now the new Divergent Universe does kind of make up for like some of that, and I have enjoyed like, you know, the new buff system for that, but still like 2 events, and one of them is like barely even an event. It's just not enough at all. Now that being said, I don't really mind a slow patch if the next patch does kind of make up for that. Now I don't know if 3.2 will, since I believe the live stream is going to be like next week, I believe. But I'll be honest, besides doing the story, which I did enjoy a lot, and doing the Chimera event, which I did also kind of enjoy since it was basically just super auto pets. Like, yeah, besides those 2 things, I have like barely played StarRail this patch. Now obviously, you know, StarRail is never going to be a game that you can just play for like 8 hours a day all the time, like just grind it out all the time. It's never have been that, and it's never going to be that. It's just not realistic, and you kind of just need to accept that. But you at least should feel like there is something to do when you log into the game. Like you should feel like you have a reason to log in, you know? And like more side content could kind of help with that, and more events as well, obviously. Now as for like what that could actually be, I mean, there's like numerous things that it could be. It could be like anything, both combat and non-combat related. Now I know some people will probably say like PvP, but I'm gonna be honest, one, Hoyo would never add that. That just seems like something that they're just not interested in doing at all. But more importantly, I just don't think that PvP would be good for the game, because it would be just extremely pay to win and would make power creep just even worse than it already is. And also, I just don't think the game is very well designed for PvP, you know? Like, it feels way more, you know, designed for the single player experience. Now, as for like, you know, what else could be done in terms of side modes, well, I think I have mentioned this in like videos before, but one thing that I do think would be cool is some sort of like endless tower mode, like where you have to fight like waves of enemies, and it gets harder and harder as time goes on, and then you can try to see like how high of a score you can get. And maybe it could also, you know, work like Simulated Universe, where there are like weekly rewards you can get, but also like harder difficulties for you to do if you want, which I do think is the best way to do difficulty for these sort of non like endgame modes. You know, just make like the normal rewards like fairly like easy to get, not like super easy, but just like fairly easy to get, but then have like the more difficult stuff there if you want to do it, and then have maybe some like special rewards there, like maybe like a name card or something. As for like non-combat stuff, I mean, there's like technically like a decent amount of stuff, since most of the old events are like permanent, at least like a lot of the big ones. But like, unless you're a new player, you probably did most of those when they came out. Most people have already done those. And also, I really don't, that's not really the same thing as like a new side mode, you know? That's just like past events. They're just staying in the game. What I do think would be interesting is some sort of like arcade, kind of like what Zenless has. I mean, the Stern in Pentaconi already has an arcade, and you know, you would already have a game ready for it, because we literally had that like Candy Crush Bejeweled sort of like bird event. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but I do think an arcade would be fun, just to add a bit more variety and just to have something to do besides combat if you just don't feel like doing combat, because like besides story there isn't really that much to do besides combat, which does kind of make sense because StarRail is turn-based. But I do think the main problem is that like there needs to be like one or the other. Like we either need more side stuff that isn't combat related, or we need more side stuff that is combat related. The problem right now is that we have neither. And like, if Hoyo doesn't want to add more permanent modes, then at least just give us more events to make up for it, especially if you're going to just do 5 stars. Because I'm gonna be honest, if Hoyo is just only going to do 5 stars, then we should get more pulls to make up for that if we're just not going to get 4 stars at all. So like, what this leads to is everyone right now is just kind of bored because there's just nothing to do. And like I'm pretty sure I've said this in past videos, but when people are bored is when a lot more of the negativity and people just getting really pissed off starts to come out. Now, I am also, kind of negative in a lot of my videos, but I try to look at it more from like a design, perspective, and at least try to see where the devs are coming from and why something is the way it is, even if I don't necessarily agree with it, But at the end of the day, I still do enjoy the game. I still have fun with the game. I wouldn't be making videos on the game if I didn't enjoy it, It's just that right now I mainly just enjoy it for like the story and the characters, and I have kind of just been like enjoying the combat a bit less. That's not saying that I like hate the combat, I just don't think it's as enjoyable as it used to be, But anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.